7 p.m. This is the Londonderry Town Council meeting for Monday, June 2nd, 2025. Everyone please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to start off by introducing our new town manager, Sean Mulholland. It is his first day today, and he has a full day, and it's a town council meeting. So, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And I would also like to thank Chief Kim Bernard for filling in for the last 3 months. Much appreciated that you filled in for us and stepped up and was the town manager for us. We really appreciate that, so thank you very much. I would like to open public comment, and Dan asked to speak first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bear with me, people. I'd like to address an issue that I believe is a serious concern for the town of Londonderry. When I was approached by people in town to run for town council, I heard many of you tell me that I could work with anyone and that I cared for the town of Londonderry and would do what I believe is best for the community. Londonderry is an amazing community to live in and to raise your family. I love it when I see people that I have seen grow up in town, and now they work for this great community. I have heard how great the community is from past selectmen and councilors. What we don't need is a community that is divided, but a community that is united together for what is best for Londonderry. I have seen many public officials come and go in the past 46 years that I've lived in Londonderry. I recall, and some of you might know these gentlemen, Bob Early, Norm Russell, Bob Day, Bob Lincoln, Harry and Agnes, just to name a few that served this community. Not everyone agreed with everything. They had many disagreements and still found it more important in their disagreements to unite a community than divide it. Now these gentlemen were not around when we had this online activity that we now have. Councilor Paul served this community as a councilor for 3 years when she was elected in 2020. Back then, I, as well as other people in the community, witnessed the attacks on her and the attempts to have her removed from the council. The only thing that I observed was a division among the board members and the community. It cost the taxpayers a lot of money on legal fees, drove a wedge in the community. In March of this year, she was elected again. As I have heard prior councilors state, the people voted and they decided. Well, in this case, the people again voted, knowing she is a business owner and owns a local newspaper that goes to every home in this community. We again have a resident, a prior town councilor, that has filed complaints against Councilor Paul. I have reviewed these complaints, and I would ask Mr. Farrell to trust the 4 councilors that were elected by the people to speak to each other and handle these concerns, to handle any concern people may have first before spending money on attorney fees and investigations. The council with our new town manager has so many issues that need to be addressed for the citizens of Londonderry. We hear from people about water, traffic, development, need for services. Let's focus on these issues for the entire community. Whatever happened to the days when someone messed up, you spoke to them and used it as a teaching moment. We are not perfect. We all make mistakes. And people that have sat up on the council prior to the 5 of us have not been perfect. They talked, found solutions that was in the best interest of the town of Londonderry. As the new councilor, I can tell you that if a fellow councilor does something that I don't think is in the best interest of the community, I will speak to them. I think if you ask any of them, they will attest to that. I can also tell you that when I was a president of New Hampshire Dairy Officers Association, and I suspected someone had broken the law, I acted on it. Even though she was a fellow police officer and she didn't agree with my findings, I did what I believe was right, and I went to the Attorney General's office. Not a popular decision with some of my fellow officers at the time, but many agreed with me. I don't believe, with all my years of experience, any of these complaints rise to this level. I want to share something with you. I was in church this past Sunday at St. Jude's. Father Bob's sermon really touched home, talked about this stuff that we're going through right now. He stated that sometimes when we firmly believe that we are right, we sometimes do stupid things. He spoke about sometimes we believe in something so much that we result in name calling and things get to a point where people don't talk to each other. He said he started thinking about how we get so entrenched in our beliefs that we believe that we are absolutely, positively right in a lot of things. And that can lead to some destructive stuff, some destructive behavior on human beings' parts. At what point do we go too far in what we believe? When it comes to a point where we hurt people, it goes too far. At what point do we go too far? Sometimes we get so entrenched in our beliefs, even when people are being harmed, we don't stop and think of the harm that we are causing. We need to point out where we have gone too far and challenge our leaders to say that's a little too far. This was his sermon on Sunday. As one leader in this community, I believe this is going too far. We need to stop these attacks and unite our community moving forward. Let us all work together, making the town of Londonderry the amazing place it is to live. I want to end by asking John Farrell to put your trust in the council. Withdraw your complaints. Please trust the elected officials up here and let us unite this community. Thank you.
With that, I will open public comment, and I have asked Sean to be the timekeeper for me so that everyone gets exactly 5 minutes and no one gets more or less. So thank you, Sean. I'll open public comment.
I'm Clarissa Navarro, and I'm at 2 Woodbine Drive in town. So I had noticed that I hadn't seen any of the public notices in the Londonderry Times lately. And so I called the paper to find out what was going on and why we weren't seeing them. And apparently the town paper no longer has access to these, that they are now being printed in the Union Leader. Is that true?
I'm not aware.
I'm not aware. I don't know.
I can only speak that they are no longer running in my paper, and that I think that the town should have told the people where they're going to put them, and that's their choice of where they want to put them. I did not see them in the Derry News. I believe they would be in the Union Leader, but I don't know because I don't get the Union Leader.
Well, that's the issue. I don't get it either. I do get the Derry News and I do get the Londonderry Times, but I don't get that. So where are the notices being printed? If it's not here and it's not in Derry, where are they?
I will ask the town manager to let us all know.
That's
It's his first day, so let him get
Well,
a chance.
I believe
So-
we had an acting town councilor or a manager.
Yep.
Is he here tonight?
I
No.
He's
not
not.
see him?
It's an issue that we're going to be getting to the bottom of.
Okay.
And
I was gonna say someone
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
Someone does.
Oh.
So all right. Well,
I
that's
will
my
get
big.
you an answer.
It's the fact that no one here knows is very frightening to me. This is our town, and it should be in the town paper. And if you're not going to do it, then we should all know in some fashion where these are. Because I'm guessing not a lot of attendance at said public sessions if nobody knows they're coming or being scheduled.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening, Bob Robichek, 13 Clover Lane. Today's my birthday. I'm going to spend it with you guys, at least part of
Happy
it.
birthday.
Well, thank you.
Welcome to Sean Mulholland. I'm here to speak about impact fees to address the issues that development-driven costs are imposing on the taxpayers in our town, and to the need for impact fees. In New Hampshire, impact fees are imposed on new developments to help fund expansion or improvement of public infrastructure, such as roads, schools, public safety, public works, or utilities necessitated by that development. Under New Hampshire law, RSA 674.21, municipalities must adopt a formal impact fee ordinance through the legislative body of town council to implement these fees, and they are typically administered by the planning board or the town manager. Impact fees are typically reviewed periodically every 5 or so years in Nottingham, for example, and may apply to specific facilities like schools, roads, or public safety, depending on the municipality's specific needs. Impact fees became a notable tool in New Hampshire's municipalities in the late 1980s to address growth-related infrastructure costs, specifically as federal and state funding decreased. Many towns and cities, especially those experiencing growth like we are here in Londonderry, adopted such ordinances. Recent legislative action in the House suggested municipalities may expand impact fees to address public works facilities, which could increase adoption. Adopting impact fees requires a capital improvement plan or a CIP. We have a CIP in this town. Fees must be used for specific capital improvements for which they're collected and refunded if unused within a reasonable time, often at 6 years. Based on readily available information, I did a little bit of research on the following municipalities. It's a partial list. Have impact fees: Amherst, Bedford, Candia, Chester, Concord, Derry, Dover, Durham, Hooksett, Laconia, Lebanon, Litchfield, Meredith, Nottingham, Pembroke, and Salem. That's among a few. In conclusion, this list is not all-encompassing, as impact fees can be addressed or added any time by any municipality. Some will say that, well, new developments in town will create additional tax revenues to pay for infrastructure projects. That's true, but the impact is immediate to the town, immediate to the taxpayers, and places that burden on taxpayers right away. So with the new town council and new town manager, I'm urging the town council and the planning board to strongly consider implementing impact fees on new developments to ease the tax burden on current homeowners and taxpayers. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Under 4 minutes, probably.
I just
you.
want to say I totally agree with you, and I hope that this board will be able to put that on the agenda to discuss, have a public hearing, and discuss steps in moving forward in that, as I think that's been long overdue for being reenacted in this town again.
I agree, and our new town manager has a really strong grasp on impact fees from Lebanon.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy Wagner, and I'm going to drive Dan crazy. 15 Parmenter, 12 McGregor Court, 402, and Pillsbury Cemetery.
I miss saying that. You know.
Can I, town manager, or actually chair, are local citizens allowed to put in ethical complaints?
I believe they are.
Okay.
Yes,
I
anybody
believe
can
they
file
are.
an ethics complaint.
And we know because of 91A, any ethical complaint, you guys can't really talk because it's all got to be done out in public.
Correct.
So my question is our council in the room tonight?
Say that again?
Is council in the room, Tom? Okay, because I'm kind of worried that this is going to get into a liability situation if we don't have council in the room.
Yep.
And as a taxpayer, I worry about that. I think that this is unfortunate. I think that it's really, I ask that we don't have a courtroom or a trial here tonight because it's public comment. Is it on the agenda for a trial in this room?
No, it's not.
We're going to be discussing it later on in the agenda, but there's not going to be a trial, if that's what you're asking.
Okay, so we have a
Discussion.
defense lawyer here for Ms. Paul, is that correct?
Yep.
Am I, that you have hired? Okay, so that's, to me, sounds like maybe we should just follow the policy, which is really simple, like everybody does, follow the process, because it's not, it is a private, independent investigator will determine if this I don't know what you call it, has merit. And at that point, then you guys can make the decision fairly. This doesn't have merit, or it does have merit. And to get to the point of notices, I don't get the Dairy News anymore. I don't get your paper at all anymore because I'm in an apartment and it's not delivered to me. And I don't get the Union Leader because I'm not paying for the subscription. So that is a mute argument in my point, because not everybody in town is informed by the London Dairy Times or the Dairy News or the Union Leader. So I ask that maybe we rethink what we're doing here and maybe get this as let the investigation go and then deal with it publicly with everybody. Because what I'm afraid of is a lot of stuff is going to be said tonight that could lead to slander, that could lead to arguments, and I don't want to shut anybody down, and I'm sorry, but I'm just voicing a concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
John Ferrera, 58 Harvey Road, Londonderry. Dan, I'm in support of what you basically said, and I want to reassure with you, I've been involved with the town since 1977. Chairman of the Cable Committee, worked with Mr. Lincoln with Field Committee, brought internet to the schools. What else? Stopped a 165-foot tower being built in somebody's backyard. And I want to tell you, there are people in this community that do work together, even though we have a difference of opinion.
Yes.
Okay. For example, the lady to the right of me, she supports us. I'm on the Utilities Committee also, and the Water Committee. And I don't mind people sending me email about their water at 11 o'clock at night. That's fine. I have no problem with that. This person did 3 jobs just to support us. This person, since 1977, has helped me get messages out on sports, on school activities, and things like that. And right now, a lot of us on these committees are spending, I'm talking about hundreds of hours. I'm on the engineering side of water and things like that. I think Ron knows that.
Yeah.
Kristen does. Yeah. We've got so many things to do and so many things to finish up for you guys, like the master plan, at that there are people who work together, and we just need to keep it like that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else for public comment? Nope.
Yeah. My name is Ann Fenn. I'm at 18 Partridge Lane in Londonderry, New Hampshire. And I'm going to agree with the past 2 folks who just spoke. This is a government forum that we're operating in right now. And you all represent all the citizens of Londonderry. And it's not a civil or a criminal court in any way. It's not a government matter, which could potentially come up tonight. I really feel it's not the business of the town to be discussing these issues between a couple of people who, we don't need a Hatfield and McCoy set of circumstances in this town. And I understand there are different viewpoints. Some people feel that all these issues should be discussed in public. I feel after talking to both parties and spending time with both parties that these issues should be discussed with a professional, independent, neutral mediator. I really feel it's a mediation issue. And I hope that can be done, and there doesn't need to be the public family pain or the public town pain. So I'm hoping that you all agree and that these issues are not, it's not a government matter, it's not the people's business, so to speak. So I do hope that we don't get into that situation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening, members of Town Council. My name is Kevin Coyle. I'm a former employee here. I live at 660 Middle Street in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I do represent Deb Paul. And Ms. Paul has hired me to represent her in these particular interests because Mr. Farrell has made some pretty serious, although I think spurious, allegations against her, including criminal activity. And I take that pretty seriously, and I appreciate, Councilor Bouchard, what you said. I don't want you to spend money. I think it is a total waste of time. This town has wasted more legal fees on what I would consider foolishness. And I don't want you to be seduced tonight into spending more money, because it's wrong. What former Councilor Farrell is doing is wrong. And I appreciate Councilor Bouchard has called him out on it. And I'm not going to go through that again. But you as a council can decide to end this tonight. And I would ask you to do that. And if you don't, if you choose not to, it's going to cost the Londonderry taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars if you hire an outside investigator. And in looking at the allegations, one of which was that she with another individual committed some kind of fraud on the court. That was investigated after it was brought to by Kim Bernard to the Rockingham County Sheriff's. It was dismissed in 10 minutes. The allegations that have been made are spurious at best, and I would ask you to please end it tonight. Do not spend this kind of money. Do not waste this kind of money. The taxpayers deserve better. Thank you.
Good evening, counselors. Wow, I don't think, didn't see this all coming, but I'm here to talk about dogs, and then I'll end with something else. Keep the time. First of all, I did present all of you with the warrant. Happens every year. I know the number seems high at over 750 unregistered dogs, but really it's low. Every year we keep getting lower and lower, thanks to my incredible team. What this means is that in about 2 weeks, we're going to still give people a couple more weeks to register their dogs. At that point, by the RSAs, the state law, they will be charged $25 per dog that they have. It's something that they'll be getting notices on, but it is coming. And if all of you here in the audience, on a positive note, if you can let us know, we've got 750-ish dogs unregistered. Many have moved, many have passed. Please let our office know that, because then we can get that list down, and then we won't have to pay for postage and things to send out civil forfeitures. So also, another little note on dogs. Please, even if your dog is on a leash, be careful with those dogs on leashes. I know 3 people, a couple up on the trail got nipped, and the dog was on a leash. Someone was passing by. We all have to be responsible for our pets in every way. Now, on to the elephant in the room. I'm Chairman Dunn. I'd like to ask, when when Councilor Bouchard was speaking, was he speaking as a resident or was he speaking as a town councilor?
I believe he was speaking as a resident, but I don't want to speak for him. But I believe he was speaking as a
I
resident.
don't know that was stated, but I think, as I said at the last meeting, when we're elected officials, we're all held to a much higher standard, 24 hours a day. We don't get to pick and choose. My concern with the passionate, presentation of Councilor Bouchard is that, okay, so I represent the residents of this town, every one of them, and many concerns have been brought forth to every council in the past, and they're addressed. Some, I'm sure, erroneous, that really maybe shouldn't have been, but out of respect for each and every citizen, we don't broadcast their name, and we look into it, or you, thank goodness, have that task of looking into it. My concern, representing all of the residents, is going forward, why would anyone want to bring an honest concern that they believe is honest forward to all of you? Because a name was brought forward. Attorneys are in the room. I feel that is intimidation. Why would I dare say anything? And I would dare say something because I am the elected town clerk. But why would anyone else dare bring a concern? Because now you've set a precedent. John Farrell, loud and clear. John Farrell, loud and clear. John Farrell, loud and clear. So what about the next Molly May that has a legitimate concern? You might not think it's legitimate, but they sure do. Your job, what you were elected for, is to represent everyone. And I don't believe you get to sit up there and speak as a resident. And if you are going to do that, you need to make it very clear to everyone in the room. Because I don't know as a counselor if that should be considered something that you do. If you're speaking for yourself as a counselor, then I think that's a little different. But again, someone's name, and it's not because it's my name, and it is, and I'm proud of that, but that...
Hi.
Take it outside. If you want to talk, take it outside. Don't do it. Come on.
Guys, please.
But I'm glad it stirred some emotion because that it concerns me. Anyone should be able to bring anything to you, as frivolous as you may think it is, and know that their privacy, and of course you can write to know, you can ask, we all know this, our First Amendment rights, of course, but people have to know that they have a safe haven in all of you to bring issues forward. And then, as a few of the speakers said, it's your job to determine whether or not it's correct or incorrect, and then we move forward. But again, intimidation. I mean, why would anyone just have that freedom now to bring something forth? And I hope I'm wrong on that. And I hope you address that because that's worrisome. And I didn't expect any of this, you know. So anyway, back to dogs, please keep that in mind. And remember that, you know, we're all here with kindness and love for this community in our hearts. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
That's John Farrell, 4 Hancock Drive. So a month ago, I submitted a complaint. I've heard nothing in the last month. There's a process. You submit the complaint in sealed envelopes. It's done very discreetly. The sealed envelopes went to the town manager, to you, Mr. Dunn, to you, Mr. Faber, and handled extremely discreetly. Obviously, it wasn't handled discreetly after that, huh? Because we're standing here tonight. I brought legitimate concerns. I put my trust in you, doing it discreetly. And somebody sent them out to the public. Wasn't me. So you sit up here and you say, you know, we need to work together. Trust us to do this. I did. This is what you did. I'll agree with my wife. This is definitely a form of intimidation. So I'm going to be persecuted here in the room because I brought a legitimate concern forward, regardless of what Attorney Coyle thinks. Doesn't matter to me what he thinks. Why is he even here? Why wasn't I given the opportunity to have legal representation? Why wasn't I told about any of this? I was told nothing. Whatever version of the truth went out to people who were in here tonight. But I wasn't told anything. You didn't communicate with me at all. So yes, why would any resident bring anything up ever again if this is the way you're going to treat them? Why? Sad. I handled this discreetly. I handled it confidentially. You didn't. That's wrong.
Anybody else for public comment? You've already,
Okay, I can't,
Yeah.
I can only come up once?
yes. There'll be a time at the end. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Dennis Martin, 182 Pillsbury Road. I'm going to keep it really brief. First, I want to welcome Sean. I got to meet him at the meet and greet. And I suggested to him, because he asked for suggestions at the meet and greet, I told him he should take up drinking. Heavily.
I am an Irishman.
Okay. Oh, he wants an Irish pub too, right? Well, we'll work on that too. You know, I have all the faith I can in most of you councils up there, because I've gotten to know you a little bit personally. And I like what you said, Dan. It's this division and attack and on people has to stop. You know, we got more things to take care of in this town than to worry about what Councilman Paul was doing. You know, and the money that will be spent if this goes to legal. And that's about all I have to say. And I'll meet you at the pub later.
Thank you, Dennis. How are you, sir?
Good. Scott Bristol, 23 Bartley Hill. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but, you know, I actually agree with John that you shouldn't bring public names up. But I also want to bear out that hasn't started tonight, and they're not the first person. I sit here in one council meeting and listen to John Butler, after public comment was closed, go on and on and on about public.
Speak up, please.
Go on. Sorry.
Speak in the microphone so we can hear you.
Is that better? Yeah. All right. Yeah, go on and on and on about parents at the time that were trying to defend their kids and call them out one by one after public comment was closed. So I agree. It shouldn't be done. You shouldn't call out public people. It's a sacred right to come here and to be able to address your government and to be called out, even if it's not meant to be intimidated. I know I stopped speaking because of it. The cancel culture in this town is toxic and upsetting. I had my employer called twice during the COVID times to try to get me fired because I dare stand up for our kids. This is ridiculous and it should not happen. You have a right, you know, regardless, I don't even know the details of what's going on here other than the chronic battle between John and Deb, right? I have no idea, but to find out about this and to have all this going on, you know, it needs to stop. It's disgusting, and it's our right to come here and talk, and the intimidation factor in this town is ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else for public comment?
I do.
Okay.
Andy Greco, 45 White Plains Avenue. I don't know what the ethics charges or complaint that was filed is all about. I'd like to find out, and I think that's one of the reasons why I'm here. But I am concerned that if this was supposed to be a confidential document, I am concerned if somebody released it to other people. So I would like to ask each and every one of you, did you release this document to the public?
We won't answer that right now.
Well, that's not fair.
We're going to discuss that later on in the.
Well, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because you have an unfair audience here, and Mr. Farrell doesn't have counsel. Ms. Paul does. And I think it's unfair the way it's been handled by you folks. Okay. Somebody leaked the information. And that's not fair. Thank you.
Anybody else with public comment?
Martha Smith, 38 Shasta Drive. If these complaints were filed, they were supposed to be private. I don't know enough about how things get done. But if they were filed, and they were filed naming Counselor Paul, then I believe that she has a right to go to an attorney and get some advice. They are somewhat serious. A lot of the, I don't know what it's all about, but it seems like, unfortunately, this has been a battle that has festered for a very, very long time. Mr. Farrell has certain ideas of how the town should be run and how he wanted things to go. And that was all well and good. That was his ideas, and I have no complaint about that. I think maybe Councilor Paul has some different ideas of how the town should grow, expand, whatever it is. But they have a difference of opinion, in my opinion, that's become a personal vendetta. And it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by this for the town of Londonderry. And I told both of them today, I was praying for them, and I want them to settle this. I think that what Dan said, whether he said it as a citizen, whether he said it as a counselor, I don't care. He said it, and everything that he said was important to be said. It has to be settled, and people should be able to, in a town like Londonderry, even though I know we're growing and we're a big town, we should be able to sit down and have a cup of coffee with somebody and talk out our differences. And I'm very upset by this. And I hope it ends tonight, too. I think it should end tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening. Debbie DeRochers, 25 Rural Lane. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but I just would like to make one comment. If this exact situation had been in reverse, John Farrell sitting up there, Deb Hall sitting back there, and she did the exact same thing, this whole crowd here, on this side, I guess, would be saying the exact same thing that we're saying. Transparency, transparency, transparency. That's her number one word. Where is the transparency now? I find it totally insulting. Somebody on this board put it out to people. I heard it as a clerk in the office from customers at my window today. At my window. Somebody told what was going on behind the doors. You're saying trust people? I don't trust. Because it's not happening. It's not happening. So they're totally right. Who's going to come up here and say anything negative? It's not going to happen. No one should have been named, whether it was me or anyone else. And if it was reversed, yes, we're all sick of it. We have been sick of this feud with her and all the people. There's hundreds of people. We're sick of it. But when it was going on for years and years and years, John's been on the council for years, it's been going on forever. But now all of a sudden it's turned around and it's the end of the world. We got to stop. We can't do this. She's the poor soul. We got to stop this. It's wrong. And somebody leaked it out.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
I'm Marcia Nadler, 5 Hancock Drive. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but my husband and I are new residents of Londonderry. We've been here under 2 years. I have to say that watching what's going on tonight is very disheartening. We love being here in Londonderry. We're from California. And we love everything about Londonderry. But being in this room and feeling the energy in this room is, it feels so toxic in here. I want to believe that if I have a complaint to make, that you're the group to bring the complaint to. But I don't feel that way right now. To know that a complaint was brought to you and it wasn't held in I don't want to use the word secrecy, but it wasn't held in yes, is very upsetting to us, to my husband and I, because it definitely should be. We should be able to, as citizens, bring something to you and know that you're the group that's going to take what we have to say seriously and take care of us as your citizens. And I want to know that that's what's going to happen. I didn't even know if I was going to come up here because I thought, am I now going to have am I going to be blacklisted? You're going to know my name and where I live, and I'm not going to, feel safe in my community. But I want to know that you're here for us as citizens, and that's what you should be here for. That's what my, council was for in California, and that's what you should be here for here in Londonderry. So I hope that's what your role is for.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, I will close public comment. On to board appointments and reappointments. We have a resignation of Irene McCary and David Burnham from the Zoning Board of Adjustment. I will accept a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ted,
Second.
second by Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you to you both for your service. The next item of Deputy Treasurer has been moved to a future meeting. On to new business. Let's see here. Tonight, we will start by addressing an agenda item regarding recent formal complaints submitted to the town regarding potential violations of the Code of Ethics and the town charter. The purpose of this item is to acknowledge the complaints, outline the path for handling them appropriately, and take formal action on the next steps to ensure accountability and transparency. Summary of the complaints. This council received 3 complaints. They are as follows. On April 30th of 2025, we received a complaint alleging violations of the town council's Code of Ethics and multiple sections of the town charter during a Recreation Commission meeting. The second complaint was on May 1st of 2025, alleging additional violations of the Code of Ethics and the town charter not tied to a specific meeting, but pertaining to recent conduct. On May 8th, this council received another complaint alleging the code of conduct and charter violations that occurred during the May 5th town council meeting. I will accept a motion to formally acknowledge and accept into the record the complaints dated April 30th, May 1st, and May 8th relating to the alleged violations of the Code of Conduct and Town Charter.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. I will now accept a motion to suspend action on the complaint that has been referred to by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Department pending completion of the Rockingham County Sheriff's investigation.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Now, we as a council need to discuss how we would like to.
Mr. Chairman, just to
Oh,
be
sorry,
clear,
please.
it's important to record who voted on what, because I think it's unclear right now.
Oh, sure.
So if you just clarify those 2 votes, who voted in the affirmative?
Sure.
Who abstained, or who voted in the negative?
Do a roll call vote?
You don't have to do a roll call
Okay.
vote, just make it clear for the record who
Okay.
voted how.
On motion number 1, which was to formally acknowledge and accept into the record the complaint dated April 30th, May 1st, and May 8th regarding the alleged violations of the town charter. All those that said aye? Aye. Any opposed? All 5 voted yes. On the second motion to suspend the action by the sheriff's complaint, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I am not sure if I should be recusing myself, if I should vote for myself, vote again. I don't know what the legal advice should be here.
You should be recusing yourself because it's a matter
Okay,
that
then I
pertains to
recuse
you.
myself. Thank you. Hence why I wanted my attorney.
Okay. Good. So then, going back to the first motion,
It's a
So-
abstention.
4, 0, 1 abstention.
So abstention is a different thing. So recusal is different than abstention.
Okay.
So the proper course of action is for you to actually leave the table and to come out here and allow them to act on the matter. I know you haven't done this before, and hopefully you won't have to do
Okay.
it again.
Thank you.
All right, so to answer your question then, 4, 0 recusal on both motions.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, yep. Right, okay, yeah. So I will accept the motion to direct the town manager to engage in an independent third-party investigator to conduct a review of the remaining complaints and report the findings to the town council.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. These motions aim to ensure that all complaints are treated seriously, reviewed thoroughly, and handled without bias. The town council is committed to due process, transparency, and upholding the integrity of our public service. The complaints will be placed on the 91A Right to Know page on the town's website before noon tomorrow. Ms. Paul could rejoin us. Thank you.
So this is not a public document? I want to make that clear.
Yes.
Yeah, I just can't get it posted tomorrow because staff won't be until about 10:30.
Fine.
Order number 2025-13, an order relative to licensing of a junkyard pursuant to RSA 236:121 Murray's Auto. Mr. Anderson.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Council. My name is Brad Anderson. I reside at 2 David Drive, Raymond, New Hampshire.
Hey, I'll hold, please.
Guys,
I'll hold 911.
hold up, yeah.
Yep.
There's a complaint. Usually
Yeah, usually. There's always been a call here.
Please proceed, sir.
Sure. Again, I'm Brad Anderson. I'm Assistant Building Inspector for the town of Londonderry, and I reside at 2 David Drive, Raymond, New Hampshire. I'm here to discuss Murray's Junkyard first, and then S&S Junkyard second. On unannounced visits a few times on Murray's Junkyard, the fences were down and the cars were stacked too high. When asked to take care of the problem, he resolved the issue within 24 to 48 hours upon an additional checkup. An inspection of the junkyard was conducted on May 27th to determine compliance with the license conditions in preparation for renewal. No adverse conditions were observed during the inspection that would prohibit renewal of this license. The applicant continues to work with DES to maintain compliance with the recommended best management practices. During my visit, it appeared that Mr. Dudek is following proper best management practices. Recommendation based on the recent visit, inspection, and other visits to the property during the year, it appears that the applicant is operating within the requirements of their license, and renewal of the license is recommended.
Any questions from the council for?
Mr. Chair, can you repeat that last part? There was some noise in
Sure.
the room I couldn't hear. Can you?
Would you mind repeating the last part? Ted didn't get to hear
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Recommendations. Based on the recent inspection and other visits of the property during the year, it appears that the applicant is operating within the requirements of their license, and renewal of the license is recommended.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions from the council?
I make a motion that we approve.
I have a motion from Dan.
Second.
Is-
What was the
Second.
motion? I couldn't hear.
To approve the licensing of Murray's Junkyard.
Thank you.
And I heard a second. Second from Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. On to order number 2025-14, an order relative to licensing of junkyard pursuant to RSA 236:121 SNS Metals. Go ahead, sir.
Unannounced visits to SNS Metal Recycling. Again, few times when I was out there, vehicles needed to be pushed back from the berm, which is stated in the court order. For sale signs in the vehicle windows occasionally had to be added on new vehicles that he had coming in. And fire lanes on one time needed to be opened up so that the fire trucks can get into there to put out a fire. An inspection on that junkyard was conducted on May 27th to determine compliance of license conditions in preparation for renewal. No adverse conditions were observed during the inspection that would prohibit renewal of this license, and the applicant continues to work with DES to maintain compliance with the recommended best management practices. Due to the nature of the junkyard operation as determined by DES, Mr. Salamini also operates as a metal recycling facility for the non-automotive metals received at this site. Based on the recent inspection of other visits to the property during the year, it appears that the applicant is operating within the requirements of their license, and renewal of the license is recommended. And I might add in there as well, Mr. Salamini is also very good at, when I find a problem out there, within 24 to 40 hours, usually 24 hours, it is resolved.
Any questions from the council?
No, thank you.
I'll make a motion that we approve the renewal of the SNS license.
Motion by Dan, second by Deb. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Order number 2025-12, an order relative to the expenditure of reclamation trust funds. Mr. Trottier.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I'm here this evening to discuss Order 2025-12, the expenditure of reclamation trust funds. This evening, I'm requesting the release of $15,808 for the purchase of an additional 210 98-gallon recycling carts. These additional carts are provided to the residential users, such as existing homes as well as new homes for people throughout the town. Some of these carts, for your own edification, they're pushing 9 years in age. So some of these that are out actually on the street date back to 2016. So again, it's just a typical procedure that I come forward to for the release of those funds from the Reclamation Trust Fund.
Any questions from the council?
Yes. Do we have a total number that's left in that fund? Does that get replenished over time?
It gets replenished as part of the car registrations and whatnot.
Okay.
That's where that money comes from.
Okay.
In the order itself, Ted, you'll see we had established it to fund the disposal of motor vehicle waste and recycling and reclamation of other wastes.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other question from the council? Dan?
John, is that also to cover repairs on some of the carts, or is that just getting new carts?
These particular ones are all new carts, Dan.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll see the quote attached to the order.
Any other questions? Anybody? I will accept a motion to approve order number 2025-12.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Ted. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative.
Mr. Chairman, while I have the floor, I'd like to recognize a group of volunteers, if I could, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Throughout the years, the town of Londonderry has had dedicated volunteers that have helped us to collect waste oil here in town. Again, the collection of the waste oil prevents this oil from contaminating our environment, and again, us being good stewards to the environment. For a number of logistical reasons, including dwindling residential participation, the volunteer program, which had operated for 2 hours, 1 day per month, has run its course. And instead, residents can now bring their waste oil to several auto parts stores in town during normal business hours, 7 days a week. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that group of amazing volunteers: Dwayne Himes, Gary Stewart, Vinnie Curo, Marty Shrugis, John Weisler, Lynn Wiles, John Mayen, and others throughout the years. They've all been incredible, giving up their time on select Saturday mornings in all kinds of weather to make a positive impact by collecting this waste oil. And we would like to express our sincere gratitude to all of them. We couldn't have done it without each and every one of them and their assistance. So again, just a shout out for those volunteers. Thank you.
Thank you to all the volunteers, and John, thank you for letting us know.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
one last
absolutely.
question for Mr. Trotter while you're speaking about waste and trash cans. Our next holiday coming up is July 4th, and it lands on a Friday. Do you
Yeah.
know if that'll be a delay in pickup for anyone on that day?
It'll be the typical type of delay, Ted, so that if your typical collection day is Friday, it'll be Saturday.
Okay.
That's as simple as that one.
Great. Just wanted the public to know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
Mr. Chair,
Absolutely.
before we get any further into the meeting,
Yep.
I just realized, and I'm so sorry, just because of everything that went on, I should have recused myself from the junkyards, because both of them advertised with me.
Okay.
I should have not voted. I should have not seconded. I'm sorry. I was a little flustered. I just realized it, and I want to correct that mistake.
Okay.
So I apologize deeply, but
Nope.
my heart's racing a little bit.
Oh. So, should
Just
we
for-
revote,
yeah,
sir?
No, just for the record, Councilor Paul has corrected this situation. She's asked to be recused from those votes, so those votes will not they won't count towards the vote.
Perfect.
Thank
I
you.
believe we do
I'm
need
sorry
a
about
new
that.
second, though, right?
No, she can recuse herself. So she has to choose. She can, even now if she's done it afterwards, that's fine. She's put it on the record that she's done that, and that's the appropriate course of action to take if you feel you have a conflict. So now it's recorded in there, and you will count the other votes towards that.
What I think Councilor Combs is addressing is that she had seconded one of the
Oh
motions,
yes,
I believe.
yeah. Okay, that's a different. Yeah, I didn't catch that. I was.
Sorry.
Nope.
Again, apologize.
So in that case, you should revote because she was part of the moving party.
Let's revote both,
Yeah.
just to be safe, so that
Yeah.
we're all on the appropriate page, okay? So I will accept a motion to approve order number 2025-13.
So moved.
So hold on. So she needs to actually step down because
Yeah.
she's
Okay, I'm
recusing
sorry.
herself, and just to follow the procedure.
Thank you.
So moved.
Motion by Ted, second by Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. I will accept the motion for order number 2025-14.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ted, second by Sean. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Thank you, Deb. Yeah. Thank you, Deb.
I apologize. I just was.
I don't have any old business. Approval of minutes. The May 19th, 2025 Town Council minutes. Any issues or to fix with those? Or
I don't have any.
okay. I will accept the motion to approve the May 19, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Ted,
Second.
second by Dan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. Oh, okay. Sean abstains. He wasn't here. Chair votes in the affirmative. Liaison reports. Any liaison reports from the council?
I don't have a liaison
Okay.
report, and I don't know where this is appropriate to talk about.
Sure.
But I went to the meeting with Sean, and it was very, very special because there were all these scouts there, and they asked some really serious questions. They did an excellent job, but the conversation made me think, and I would like to know if the board would like to listen to my suggestion in regards to the starts of a traffic plan, an idea that I came up with while I was at that meeting. And basically, it doesn't cost the town anything. We would be using our own data. It would be a matter of talking to the Londonderry Police and the traffic safety, getting them to give us a list of the roads that have like the most car accidents or intersections with the most accidents, with the most amount of speeding that they've caused, found, and with the most congestion, and then taking that basic data and giving it to the GIS department to create a map so that we can do a bird's eye view and see where these particular roads are, and then sit down with maybe residents, the council, traffic safety, John Trotia, and see what little things we can do to alleviate or lessen that burden, and you know, like color code them. These are really bad, this is medium bad, and then be able to take steps to moving forward with, you know, Sean's idea of getting the whole traffic study and stuff. But this is something that we can actually look at and know where to zone in and where to focus on, and it wouldn't take any financial, it's just town resources to gather that data and put it together. And so that, I wanted to just, I don't know when this is appropriate to talk about.
What if we make it an agenda item in the next meeting?
That'd be-
Now we have plenty of time.
I think we can discuss it.
Okay, I'm just saying,
Yeah. So I appreciate the suggestion because it's always help getting creative with some of these things. The problem with traffic is it's not just accidents and it's not just speed. There's congestion. There's people not being able to get on certain roads. There's poor sight lines. There's a lot of things with traffic. This being one of my town council goals, I know Sean is as he's starting a town manager, he's actually dived in head first and got some thoughts on how to progress down this. So it's going to be a lot more complicated and intricate than that. But I do appreciate the suggestion. So I'm not saying it's
I just figured it was a way
Yeah.
to start doing something so people can see that we're actually starting to do stuff. Maybe get some more input too from the
Yeah.
public. Is to, there are situations like you said with I just picked accidents, traffic, congestion, and speeding, like those three topics.
And
but
it's one of the reasons has been one of my goals is because I've seen over the years, even before I was on the council, of people onesie-twosie little situations. And I think we've got so many issues in this town with traffic that we have to comprehensively look at it and start doing it in a major, major way. And so that's where, you know, as the new town manager comes up, he's got a good thought going forward on how to address it. And that will be brought forward to the public too as well. But it's something that's in flight.
that was
But
just something
I-
I wanted to say.
I
Ron?
I don't
Thank you
have,
for that.
yeah. Go ahead, Ted, please.
For my liaison report for the Arts Council, just a reminder for everyone, starting this coming Wednesday is the Concerts on the Common. We start with the high school band and jazz, and then going forth the following Wednesdays, our main act this summer is Couch. Was a big hit last year, and certainly ending the summer with the Beatles tribute band right before Old Homes Day. So please, everyone, come on out for Concerts on the Common on Wednesday nights.
Any other liaison reports? All right.
One more thing.
Oh, good.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
good.
I know that you sent out we got an email in our council email about we're going to go to have a tour of Coca-Cola on Friday, which is exciting. And I just wanted to say that I think this is a really good step as a new council to be able to go out and meet these businesses that are up there and to maybe build some solid relationships, to be able to hopefully encourage them to sponsor some things that are not in the budget that the town could benefit from. And it would help the taxpayers and it would help promote them and it would be goodwill within the community. So I'm very excited about being able to do this and to meet these people and to start building a solid working relationship with these companies that are up there that, you know, we don't really see on a regular basis like other businesses. And that was it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Nope. Town manager report.
So I have a number of items to talk about. Agenda timelines. I talked about this earlier with you folks, but the folks out here as well. I want to extend that timeline so that we post the agenda for the town council meetings at least 7 days in advance. So that way you have more time to review the material and you folks have more time to review that material so you can provide constructive feedback when you're here. I think that'll be better for everybody. It requires a little planning and a little training with staff to be able to do that. And the other part of that is agenda request items. There'll be a process, a form for you folks to fill out. You just fill out what it is that you want on the agenda. And if citizens would like something on the agenda, what I'm proposing is that they go through a counselor. They fill out the form and a counselor sponsors that, and that's when it goes on the agenda. So I'll be working on that material to get that to you, but I think that will allow for more transparency and better engagement because the public can be educated when they're making these comments. That way, if you have questions in the interim, you can ask us, and if they have questions, they can also reach out to us. So when we have the meeting, it's more productive. I'm also planning out the dates with staff for the rest of FY26. So we can post those agendas to the extent that we can do that. That's why I asked what days you might have for conflicts coming up. So we can start building out those agenda boxes all the way for the next year and dropping the material in as we go along. I am working on an MOA with discussions with some of the folks in the library board of trustees to what kind of services the town will provide in terms of HR and finance. So when I get that fully vetted by staff, I'm going to send it out to them. But I want the council to approve that, not the manager, because those are two governing bodies that should be doing that, in my view. So we're working on that. We'll be getting that to you hopefully soon. The council objectives, I paid close attention to those, even though I was not physically here. I have that list. And I think it's important for us as staff to pay attention to that so that we actually start working on the things you want us to work on. Otherwise, it becomes talk and doesn't go anyplace. We've got to put a timeline on those and what the action items are to accomplish those and prioritize those. So I want to have a discussion on that and also talk about a longer-term strategic plan going into next year, which has a lot more detail. So I need to talk with you about what that process looks like. And I need you to approve that because those are your strategic objectives as the town council. Normally that's done with staff and every board and committee in the town, and there's public engagement sessions to provide that feedback. And then you give us that directive and we make it happen. Otherwise, things get lost in the shuffle, and I think we want to make sure that doesn't happen. As was talked about earlier, traffic management plan, I already have a draft of that. I'm going to send it out to the entire council. It's just a preliminary piece of that, how to deal with complaints as they come in, the process by which they're handled. It needs to go to the Traffic Safety Committee for feedback as well as other staff. And some of the things that Councilor Paul talked about, we can provide that because it's readily available. So I'll be sending out to the entire council the traffic accident data, the traffic count data that we have, and also traffic enforcement. It'll give us somewhat of a picture, but it's not the full picture as Vice Chair Favorite just mentioned. But at least it's information. It doesn't cost us anything, as you indicated, and it is readily available. So we can produce that and send that to you. Eventually, we'll want a traffic management page because it is such a big issue in the community. People should be able to see what we're doing and how to reach out to us and engage us with the concerns that they have on their particular streets in the town. I think we need to do a review and update of some of the ethics procedures. You didn't even know what to do tonight because we haven't told you what to do in terms of recusal. Not your fault. That needs to be outlined really clearly in there. I just updated it where I was previously, and I think that will help everybody, and it lets these folks know what the process is so everybody understands how it operates. So I already have a draft of that, but I'll be sending that to you for further review. I sent you the transition plan for the next 90 days. For you to, if you have any concerns or comments on that, please get that back to me. There's a lot of pieces to that. At the end of that, there's a SWOT analysis, which I'll be presenting back to you with some detailed information on that. So that's the plan for the next 90 days. And obviously my schedule is filling up rather quickly, which is a good thing. And then we talked about community engagement in those sessions. And I need to actually put those on the schedule and how we're going to do that so we can reach out to these folks in a less formal environment, more of a roundtable like thing where folks can bring up issues and we can talk about those. I found them very productive in the community I worked in before. I think we'll find them productive here as well. So I want to get those scheduled, and we need to go other places where people are, because a lot of folks don't come here. They don't have the time to come here. But if we can go where they are in their particular neighborhoods and and their community centers, wherever they may be in the town, that I found has been more helpful. So we'll be working on that as well. So it's going to be an ambitious period of time here over the next 90 days to 6 months to get some things done. And that is all I have for you, unless you have questions of me.
Any questions? No. All right. Thank you, sir. Assistant Town Manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So at the last council meeting, a resident submitted a complaint regarding some construction debris at the Woodmont Commons PUD. So I did follow up on that, so I just wanted to update you as I had promised. So I forwarded that on to code enforcement and our town director of engineering, and follow-up was made with the site foreman as well as Pillsbury Realty Group, the owner of the of Woodmont Commons. And to my knowledge, there has been an increase in the foreman and his staff cleaning up the site, and cleanup was done since that last council meeting when I was in receipt of that complaint. So as far as I understand it, that's being addressed and has been addressed. So if that changes, please contact me again. Aside from that, just a reminder that the planning board has 2 meetings this month. Wednesday is the first one, and then next Wednesday, the 11th, is the following. We are discussing a significant amount of zoning amendments and site plan and subdivision regulation amendments. So I would encourage folks to attend if they're interested in those topics. And then lastly, the master plan steering committee did reschedule their meeting to this month. It will be June 26th right here in this room. And again, encourage folks to attend that so we can receive public input on that process.
Thank you. Yep. And I wanted to have a council discussion on the summer meeting schedule. Typically in the past, the council's only met once in July and once in August. I wanted to recommend that we meet twice in July, twice in August. And if we have to cancel a meeting, we can cancel a meeting. I think we've got a lot of things going on in town, and I just wanted to get the feedback from the council as far as how you guys felt.
I'll chime in on that. I think it's a great idea because we have a new town manager, and I looked at his 90-day plan. He's got a lot on there, so I think it'd be good for us to keep up with, with him and keep things up. If our meetings are short, they're short.
Yeah.
I feel just like Dan. I feel like we lost some time, with the interim manager not being able to get things done.
Yep.
I think this would allow us to catch up, so we don't have to have a whole lot on our agenda when we're working on the budgets. It would be focused mainly on budgets. So I do agree that we should be doing that.
Any other feedback?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. So I will schedule the first Monday and the third Monday meetings for July and August. And if for some reason we don't have enough stuff, we can cancel a meeting. I will open up public comment. Maybe.
John for 58 Hovey Road. Here actually about the Utilities Committee. Welcome aboard.
Thanks, sir.
Please drink heavily. You're going to need it.
Yeah.
I just want to say that as part of the Utilities Committee, I think the arrangement that we have is actually really good in the sense that we have Ron, who's our liaison from the town council, Kristen, who supports us via the staff and things like that. But in general, besides the after work, I'm on the water subcommittee, or I'm your cable guy and stuff like that. Did not know it was going to turn into a 50-hour-a-week job, but Mr. Farrell warned me that, but that's okay. We try to do as much public awareness and announcements as we can. We have to follow 91A, of course, but some of the things we've done is we had where I interviewed our previous town council, Mr. Malaguti. We did it on tape. I got distributed. People were informed why we're doing the bond issue, how PFAS affects you. And we've done other things like that. And what I'm here to tell the public is we're reaching out for people. So you can come to us, contact any one of us. We do have our specialties, but it'll get to the right person, either through this young lady here or whoever. And we're trying to do more and more of these public service things. We're not here to advocate one side or the other, but we're here to educate people on recycling. What we're going to do when it comes January, February, when we try to do the bulk purchase of electricity, what we're doing for solar regulations, and of course all the things we're doing for the master plan. I'd like to thank Ron for the 13th of May presentation regarding the zoning laws and stuff like that. I'm trying to do the engineering calculations on total cost for remedy. And when these new legislative things going through the state, whether you're for or against them, as citizens, you should get yourself educated. There's lots of articles out there and you can understand what's going on. And that's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else with public comment?
Hi, Robin Stewart, 522 Mammoth. I just found out today that the planning board is having this meeting for the overlay on 28, which is a big deal to us. It's a big deal to our road, our community. We know anything about it. My son got a notice because there's a strip of land between my house and 28, but there's nothing between his. And I did call Kelly and she sent me the paperwork, which I appreciate. But you've switched where you're advertising these things. So we had no way to know that this is going on. I have no idea how I'm going to make sure that the people in our neighborhood get a chance to come to this meeting. Because there was nothing that says, oh, we're not going to let you know in the Londonderry Times anymore. We're going to go to the Union Leader, and I'm not paying for the Union Leader. I wouldn't read it if it were free, so it wouldn't matter. So I'm not going to see any notices there, and that's unfair, and it's not right because they're going to make decisions where the people don't have the ability to come to the meeting because we don't know. So I would just like you to reconsider what you're doing, and if you're going to make changes like that, to make sure you find a way to make us know. And I do know that I could check the site, but I don't think to do that every week to check to see what agenda is going to be somewhere. But when I glance through the paper, I see a notice and I go, oh yeah, that's important. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
Maura Ryan, 2 Snowberry Hollow. I have a similar issue with the Auburn Road PUD because a lot of my neighbors were not notified and they feel like they are abutters, even though I know the definition of abutter is a little more legal and clinical. But when I did try to go on the website and find more information, because a lot of people don't know what's going on and how it's going to impact our neighborhood, the website seems to be changed and a little different. So if you could have that information more easily available, I would definitely appreciate it. Did get my tax bill, so we'll be paying that. I won't have any money left to go out drinking in the bar, even though I'm Irish, But
I got you covered, don't worry.
If you could do that, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And I also wanted to ask, I know we had some discussion about the disabled veterans tax credit last one, and I just wanted to ask, is that being pushed off till July?
No, I believe it's coming up. If I can defer, the next meeting is the
We're
first
gonna do
reading.
Looking to do a first reading next, and
Yep.
then the
And then
the public hearing at the
public-
first meeting in July.
Yep.
It can't go into effect before July 13th.
Okay.
So
Can I put my name on a list to get noticed on that? Is there such a thing?
I'll call you. How's that?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. And that's
All right.
it.
So, Moira,
Buy a drink.
so on the abutters, actually, one of the things that we've talked about in changing the regulations, one of the things that's going to be discussed is the definition by the state changed of abutters, and we are actually going beyond that. So we're going to be notifying more people in the future. So the town is going above and beyond what is legally required. So that's going to change, and some more people should be notified of things.
And that's fine. I am aware that came up in prior town manager meetings about the abutters, and they're like, "Wow, we'd be notified," and we're not notified, and it's not necessarily the case. So.
And the change isn't in effect yet. We have to go through the process to get those regulations, but there is something in the works.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
Marge Bedouin, 189 Litchfield Road. What's up with the PUD ordinance? Are we going to address that at any time?
The PUD will be coming up in the future. It will.
Little vague.
It will be.
Ray Breslin, 3 Gary Drive. We've heard a lot tonight. Thank you. We have our new town manager, and I think we've heard a lot about communication. Communication is key to all this. And we have a lot to deal with here in this town. Everything goes back to money. Where's the money coming from? How are we going to get things done? We got to have some representation on some of the committees, like, for instance, as some probably know, I'm on the water subcommittee. I'm not necessarily speaking in regards to that. I'm speaking as a citizen, but we have a lot of issues to deal with, and we are trying to deal with it on a voluntary basis. But we may need to make sure we have representation up to Concord on, for instance, the groundwater, drinking water and groundwater subcommittees, and we got to make sure that we have people on top of these things when we need to have grants written so that we can get money, so we're not putting burdens onto the taxpayers here. The taxpayers are going to have to participate in a lot of this, which is fine. That's expected. But we got to make sure we have proper representation to those that have control of some of this monies. Thank you, all of you, for what you do. It's greatly appreciated. And working with the new town manager, I think we can make some real good progress. And keeping the lines of communication open with the general citizenry. Absolutely. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ray. Anybody else with public comment?
Good evening, Doug Thomas, 143 Mammoth Road. I just want to officially, as one of your state representatives, welcome Mr. Mulholland to the town manager job and the lovely town council meetings we have here. I'm encouraged by meeting him and discussing things. I believe there's going to be some good things going forward here. I would like to again invite Mr. Mulholland and the council, as I did before many years ago, to bring to our attention, there are 7.5 state reps here in town. As new bills are filed in the state, there are many of them. We can't possibly know all of them that are being filed. But if someone here sees bills, because you can go on to the Journal Court website, if you see them and they say, hey, this may be interesting, it might be helpful for any department heads or council or the town manager to bring them to our attention. So if they're not in our area, we can certainly find out about them. And if you have a question about them, we can look at them before they even hit the committees. So that would be very helpful, and I think we might be doing that. In terms of the industries in town, thank you. I arranged the Coke tour. If there's any other businesses in town that you would like to see, sometimes it's easier for us to contact the clients or the lobbyists that these businesses may be subscribing to, and we can go through them to arrange such tours. It seems to carry more weight sometimes. But if there are more industries that you would like to have a tour through, please contact one of our state reps, and we will get to the appropriate person and make all those arrangements. So thank you for that, and hope to see you all there on Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Anybody else? Come on up, sir.
Thank you, Ron. Tony DeFrancesco, 1 Cheshire Court. A little bit of a point of order that you had tonight about the voting. It might be easier, I'm not going to put words in anyone's mouth, but the planning board does a roll call vote so that the people writing things down can hear it while they're writing. And sometimes it's easier for them to record when it's Deb Paul, aye, Dan Bouchard, nay, Ron Dunn, aye. And so the roll call vote seems to be working pretty well on the planning board side. Might be something that you want to consider at some point down the road, or not at all. I will say that I want to also welcome Sean Mulholland as our new town manager as well. Based on his report, it was a hell of a day. If the list is that good every day, wow. And you know, in general, it's never a bad idea to get fresh eyes on something, and we haven't had that in quite some time. If you think about the lineage of the town managers that we've had, not necessarily fresh eyes, outside looking in, different perspective on things, different ways of doing things, different towns, different states, it's very interesting. That said, I think it's important to understand that what we witnessed tonight was pretty interesting, very intense. I wore 2 shirts, so I wasn't sweating through. It got pretty interesting in the back if you were paying attention. But and that's okay. That's apparently part of the process nowadays. But I will say that that to keep in mind, both as a staff and as counselors, to understand that this is a very small part of the population, but you still need to represent everybody. Everybody that lives here, everybody that rents here, everybody that pays taxes here, anybody that owns a business here, you represent them as well. And that's an important thing, and sometimes we lose sight of that when you have less than 25% of the population voting, right? And just because people didn't vote didn't mean that their opinion doesn't count in a meeting like this as well. So please, you hear me often say it. I've said it in many meetings before over many years. Please be aware that you're representing all of the people and all the thoughts that they have. And I will say to Sean, and I said it in the meet and greet, this is Londonderry is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise children, and it's a great place to age in place. I know that because I've done all 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with public comment?
Hi, Kevin Coyle again, 660 Middle Street, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I just want to, you took a vote earlier and I didn't get to say it, but I want to make clear the Rockingham County Sheriff's investigation is closed, has been closed for at least a week. And your counsel acknowledged the same to me. So I don't know why she didn't speak up to tell you that, but that investigation is over. So if you're going to be doing an investigation, which again I think is a total waste of time, you should do all 3. And I think that it's a waste to hire somebody to do 2 and not the 3rd, which has been closed by the Sheriff's Department. So, and as far as Ms. Paul, there is a town charter provision that indemnifies her, and we would ask for indemnification for all her fees and costs associated with any investigation. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anybody else with public comment? Seeing none. This council is going to go into non-public session under 91A colon 3, comma 2, M. For that, I need a roll call vote.
Aye, Ted Combs.
I, Sean Faber.
I, Ron Dunn.
I, Dan Bouchard.
I did, Paul.
We will return. Look, I will accept a motion to return from our,
Which one of these two?
to return from the non-public session.
So moved.
A roll call, I just need a roll call vote.
Aye, Ted Combs.
Hi, Sean Faber.
I, Ron Dunn.
Hi, Dan Bouchard.
I did, Paul.
All right. And then I will accept the motion to, regarding the minutes we just discussed.
I move that the minutes of the non-public session held on February 2nd, 2025 be unsealed in whole and made available to the public. Is that the correct?
That's, no.
Yeah, I didn't.
Sorry.
You read this, the top one here, and then that one.
Read the top one?
Right here.
Yeah, that's what I just read.
All right, yeah, that did, okay. Yeah, you're on the right track. Keep going.
Okay. And then read the second one. And then I move that the non-public session minutes of February 9th, 2025 and February 11th, 2025 be kept sealed as the justification for non-disclosure under RSA 91A:3, 2B, and 3, and continue to apply and outweighs the public interest in discourse at this time.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative. All right. Yeah, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Sean, second by Deb. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes in the affirmative.